welcome back to A Glimpse in My Moment. What a struggle this last few weeks have been. I've grown more and deeper than I never saw coming what all I've been through in the last couple of weeks, but none of it's bad. I mean, many people have been through way worse things in the last couple of weeks than I have, but personally, the growth and the rugs being pulled out from under me on a regular basis have been life-changing and life-altering, painful. I want to talk a little bit about control and boundaries today. There's no control but how you react to something, what you put forth in your own energy to something that has happened. But you get to control nothing. And the sooner that we recognize that and embrace that, the better off and the safer and the mentally healthier we will be. I have been really striving to let go of control and to recognize that the only thing I control is my reaction. And I feel like I've done pretty well on that, but it doesn't change the fact that other people still try to control me. I'm laughing at a frustration, and I don't want to use the word anger, but hurt. Anger always comes from other things, and this time for me, it's coming from hurt, specifically from rejection. What I've learned about control, hurt, rejection, is that all of those things, other people trying to control me, and their rejection ultimately upon me, which is very hurtful. Nobody likes to be rejected, right? Especially when you didn't do anything to be rejected for in the first place, but it's just because you're so freaking tangled up with abusers that you don't recognize anything different. Anyhow, with people who are trying to control you, you have to set boundaries. And for me, it didn't really dawn on me until yesterday when I was trying to exercise that I have no boundaries. I've rarely ever set boundaries. My therapist has taught me boundaries and has pushed me to recognizing and setting boundaries, and I have been setting them right and left, and we talk about that on a regular basis. But to be honest, until yesterday when I was trying to exercise in my tiny little room, I have a kitty cat next to me sneezing. Until I was in this room trying to exercise, and interrupted multiple times by kids, interrupted by an animal, and kids again, and I felt just that reason why I always fail at exercise, because I don't set boundaries, just healthy boundaries around something so simple as a half an hour to exercise by myself without interruption. If the house isn't on fire, nobody is injured, there's a reason to interrupt me, right? Most people would set healthy boundaries around that and never blink an eye. But when you live in an abusive situation, you have no right to boundaries. You have no rights. You don't even know it because it's all you've ever known. It's your normal. I don't know how to explain it, truly. I can feel it, I can see it happening in my mind, but to paint a picture, I'm at Nita. I'm never at a loss for describing or painting a picture, but I am a little bit right now, because it seems so unreal, because I've had some large revelations in my course of therapy in the last week and a half, because I set a really firm boundary and I was rejected in a very public way by somebody in my life, and that was devastating, and they knew that, and they immediately turned right back around after rejecting me, and then tried to pull me back in by love bombing me to invite me to something with them. And I was very proud of myself because I said no. That was all. I didn't say anything else. I just said no. shut that door. I can't shut the door on that person permanently. However, I can continue to create boundaries that keep me safe and keep me healthy and keep me mentally strong. Because if I don't do that for myself, I'm going to end up feeling like I did much in the middle of my exercise program yesterday. On the third interruption, I felt just this wave, this rush of frustration, irritation, and then I felt regret and loss. And I just teared up. I could not control my emotions, and then it dawned on me that really I hadn't done any pre-work of setting a boundary to protect my right to have a little bit of time to exercise. I was frustrated at the interruptions and the kids who were interrupting, but I had never set a boundary. I have made myself available to my family, and when I was married to my ex, 24/7. There was no Nita time, ever. And that's a very unhealthy place to be. If I took a moment for myself, I had incredible guilt and shame that went with it, because I knew there would be rejection coming from it. People who are trying to control you, people who you do not get any goodness out of, they don't belong in your life. My ex-to-be still will not move out of this house. I struggle at times with the fact that while I rarely, if ever, see this person, they exercise control over me on a daily basis through small ways, leaving dirty dishes, not jumping in to do anything at this house. There's repairs that need to be done, and there's cleaning that needs to be done, but that is all left to me as though we are still married. And I think that's a disgusting trait of a narcissistic personality, that it is all about them. And so in the last couple of weeks, with this virus changing our lives and our world, I have set some pretty hard boundaries that didn't come out very pretty. They came out kind of ugly and raw and emotional, and ugly is the best word I could use. In their ugly, raw, throw out kind of stage of setting a boundary, though, there was an eloquent beauty of learning in it for my kids. My kids immediately saw that their mom is changing and becoming healthier. I think one of the most interesting things that while I'm thinking on that is that what I've seen in my kids is that I've also seen them change and become nicer to each other. They are setting some boundaries. They are trying to have less control over one another. All of my therapy and their therapy is paying off, and sometimes I don't see it, but I know that it is, and I know it's there. You can hear this kitty cat baby. Ask yourself this: if somebody is trying to control you, why? What right do they have? What right? If somebody isn't respecting your boundaries, why are they not respecting your boundaries? There are a few people I need to remove from my life, and I just haven't taken the courage, gathered the strength to do that. And there are people who do not, or have not, or will not respect my boundaries, and I don't feel safe around those people. They don't have much access to me, but I still need to just completely remove them. But this last week, after Easter, I really realized how much control two people in my life were still wanting to have, and they just simply don't get that right to have that control. Even though they think they do, they don't. And I stick by the boundaries that I have put out there strongly. I will not waver from the fact that doing what is right for me, or you doing what is right for you, is always going to be the best thing. Always. You need to take care of yourself so you can be whole, so that you can open yourself up to the world and start to truly live the life you were meant to live. I'm only just now beginning to understand that. Beginning to heal at a deeper, more complete rate. Anyway, I guess the main points of this episode is, for God's sakes, don't let anybody control you. When it's happening, just remove yourself. Just remove yourself from the conversation. And set boundaries. Boundaries are so healthy and so needed. And anybody who is trying to reject your boundaries, they're the problem. You get the right to set your boundaries to whatever your safety zone is. And anybody who wants to argue about your boundaries is only thinking about themselves. And they are not a healthy person for you to be around. Anyway, I am working on having a guest. I have Officer Mark Slagle, who's going to be coming on as a guest soon. I am ordering some microphones so that it'll be easier to hear him and I when we do that. And I'm looking forward to that, and looking forward to his tips on how to, would be a better way to put it, when to seek help, when to call the police, what is acceptable, what is not, how the police can help you, all of those kind of things that he knows a little bit more, a lot more, a ton more. You're welcome, Mark. About than I do. Anyway, thanks for listening in. Remember, you can only control your reaction. That's it. Next time, I think I need to talk about expectations. My therapist told me to have none. Because me having expectations is just creating too much of an emotional raw spot, because my life is still in chaos, because my abuser still lives here. Anyway. Alright, my sweet friends, my sweet loves, thank you guys so much for listening in, for following, for, oh my gosh, all of you who have reached out, who are not safe, who have not left your abusers, who are still hanging on for the hope that things will change, but you are reaching out for a little bit of help and testing the waters to see if what you're in is normal. You need to know that I am so proud of you. I am so thankful for each and every one of you putting the idea into your mind that you are worth more, because you are worth more. And the whole world knows it. And the moment that you know it, you will be comfortable enough to walk out that door too. Be safe. Find reasons to smile and to celebrate, even amidst this quarantine that we're all in. No control. Only your reaction. It's all you get to control. Set boundaries. Stay healthy. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, loves.